Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Set 4 of Samson Con versus KT Rolster. It's a critical fourth set. Should KT get the win, they will go on to an ace match, and I'm sure that is what every fan wants to see, because an ace match would 99.99999% be Stork versus Flash, which can only be described with the term epically awesome, and is certainly what I want to see. So, even though I'm not normally a fan of KT Rolster, I pretty much nothing them. I'm not really a fan of them. Don't really have anything against them. I just pretty much nothing KT Rolster. So they are what they are. They don't really bother me. They don't really make me particularly happy. They just are. And but in this instance, I am going to be rooting for Violet because I want to see an ace match, and that's why. Versus Violet, we do have Great, who is certainly Samson Con's top Zerg. Certainly he's better than, I think, their other best Zerg is like the Zerg or something like that, or maybe S2, something like that. Either way, not a very good Zerg. And Great's been decent overall. I would say that he's an average Zerg. I think he's just slightly over 50% for his career, but he's not a particularly impressive player in my opinion. I think he was the one last season on Neo Medusa that did some cool stuff in terms of with some proxy hatcheries against Protoss players. That was pretty cool on Neo Medusa with some cool plays there. But I don't think it was. I don't think overall he's a particularly like an A-class player, to be honest. I think he's more around. I think he can beat players if they leave openings for him. If they maybe make some mistakes, I think he'll be able to knock you out. But if you just play solidly, if you play correctly, if you play well, I think you're most likely going to beat Great if you are a high-quality player. And Violet on the other side, while he may not have been able to advance in the Star Leagues per se, in the Pro League he is certainly deserving of a high quality player status, and certainly has a lot of capabilities with him. And as he comes in with this Pro, just trying to be a nuisance. But yeah, he is just absolutely on a tear this season. Last season we saw some flashes of it as he started to develop, and this season is just absolutely skyrocketed. He's just been on an absolute tear, and whereas everyone expected it to be either Luxury or 4GG to be Flash's right-hand man, it's been truly Violet who has been Flash's sidekick. I think we even saw Violet take an ace match recently. Someone might have to check me on that, but I think looking through some of I missed a week of games while I was out of town, but I think I saw in there somewhere that Violet won an ace match. So if he's able to do that with any sort of consistency, that would be just a phenomenal advantage for KT Rolster if they're able to do that. That would just be absolutely sweet. And let's see what else we got here going on. We do have a normal Wallen going in here, and so far I think that this game's going to be played pretty standard. It wasn't overpooled by Great, and there we see the Samson Con top Zerg. Yeah, pretty sweet. I was hoping they would show, like, usually all the pro gamers have like little cards or something, that little mini posters that they put on their monitors. I was hoping they'd show some of those. Usually some of those can be pretty sweet, sometimes they're like team cards, sometimes they're personal cards, you never know. By the way, this map is Fighting Spirit, which means it is a macro-based map. And if you've ever if you saw the game with Quanro versus Turn, maybe? Quanro versus Turn? No. Quanro versus someone that I casted a little while ago. Quanro really kind of failed because he tried to play this game like it was a micro map, like it was a small map, and he went with some very, very early Mutalisk and tried to do early game plays and micro intensive plays, and that really was not the way to go, and he kind of ended up paying for it. We are seeing some early layer here from Great, but he does have that third hatchery going, so this looks like it's going to turn out being a normal build, 3-hatch Spire or whatever. Nothing all too exciting here in the early game. Both players playing very, very normal. We'll see if Violet decides to maybe go for a Zealot attack. We don't see the 4 spinning. I can't tell if the assimilator, there it is. Yeah, the second assimilator is going up, so we're going to be seeing a tech build from Violet of some form. We'll see what kind of tech he chooses to go for. In the last set, we saw Jamie go for double Stargate, and it turned out to be quite effective for him as you're able to establish some significant air superiority. And I feel that he also picked off a lot of those overlords at key times when Luxury was trying to produce units. So his Hydros numbers never really got to where they really needed to be, and he slowly folded for that. We'll see if Violet maybe goes for something like that, or if it's just going to be for the standard Corsair. I guess we can't even really say that standard Corsair is just a single Corsair anymore. We've seen so many variations on it that you know, it's not uncommon at all anymore to see 3, 4, 5 Corsairs being produced early on. So And we'll just have to see. We do have +1 upgrading and a couple of Zealots there to defend and try and block as many of the holes as possible. There is a hole on the end there that Zerglings would be able to squeak by if he does choose to go for a run by. Great certainly would be able to. And here he does. He does actually go for a run by, skipping the natural completely, going right into the main. And Great has a huge chance in this game actually to end this right now. That is just a huge amount of Zerglings. Those can do so much damage. And January's got to be very pleased. You see that little smirk on her face. She is very happy right now. She knows that her team right now is in a huge advantage of stopping this from going into an ace match. And as much faith as she must have in Stork, I'm sure she does not want to see Flash ever hit the field more than necessary. And those Zerglings were able to do a lot of damage. It looks like they killed 5 or 6 probes, and it looks like there's still a lot of them left. Looks like maybe 8 of them left, still swarming around. It looks like 3, 6, 7 of them left, swarming around, killing probes left and right, doing a ton of damage, just picking at this building and picking at that building, and really delaying Violet's mining, delaying Violet's tech, delaying Violet's everything. Do we have a Corsair out here? Spire is not yet complete, so that Corsair is going to get at least 1 kill. And Great needs to be careful. Doesn't want to lose these Zerglings. Wants to maintain this advantage that he has of being able to pick off all these probes. And doesn't want to lose them. He's going to lose a lot of them. Yeah, he lost a few of them there. Able to pick off a couple more probes there. We got 3 Zerglings left. Still able to do a lot of damage here, and still just sweeping around. Great play by Violet, absolutely great play by Great, able to come in here. Probably picked off a total of 9-10 probes, which is just critical damage. Violet is almost irreparably behind. This is a dominating advantage right now for Great, absolutely dominating. For Great to lose at this point, he'd pretty much have to throw the game away, to be honest. Like, he is just in that good of a position, especially if this early Corsair goes down and all of the map scouting is completely destroyed. It does look like it's going to go down, and screaming around. Oh my god, I think that Corsair somehow lived. That Corsair is going to... Wow. Somehow that Corsair lived. Some great micro there by Violet. Seeing some flashes of what makes him who he is, and why he plays so well these days is because of that. Some of those very nice micro. You need to be able to do that at critical moments. You need to be able to micro and macro at a really good pace, at a very good rate, so that way you can really take bad situations and keep them from getting worse, or take a bad situation and make it better. With some good solid micro, you can definitely do that. And we saw an evidence of that there. Is it allow him to get to that critical mass of Corsairs a little bit earlier, as we saw in that last in the last PvZ. You absolutely need to get that critical mass. If those early Corsairs for Jamie had fallen down in the last game, that could have been a huge problem. And a Mutilus tech switch for Great. I don't agree with this at all. He should have just gone Mass Hydralisk, and I think he would have won just because of how much he delayed the Templar. I don't know why he's going Mutilus. He saw several Corsairs produce this. Look, I feel personally, I think that this is a little bit of an error by Great deciding to do this, and it looks like he's just going to ignore these Zealots and allow his Zerglings and his SimCity and his Sunken Colony to take care of them. But I'm kind of disappointed to see this. I hope this doesn't end up being a failure on his part. He does have some Scourge in the air as well to try and help him against these Corsairs. But overall, I don't like this tech decision here. He's got some Scourge in here, gonna try and pick off some of these Corsairs, and he's doing a pretty good job of it. But yeah, it's very he's kind of giving Violet a chance. If Violet's able to dodge these Scourges somehow, if he's able to take down these Mutilus, which with Corsairs, you know, it can happen very quickly. If you see these Mutilus, all those Mutilus are almost dead. This is absolutely awful. And Great's going to lose a lot of these Mutilus. Either that, or they're going to be able to run home, but they're going to be all almost dead. And that is just not good for Great at all. That is an awful position. And I feel like if he just went Hydros, he would have been able to continue his domination here, bringing in some Scourge now to try and deal with some of these Corsairs. But I think the Corsairs have hit critical mass. I don't think those Scourge are really going to be able to do much of anything. And the Corsairs maybe don't have the best angle, so they're going to retreat back to a Photon Cannon right now. We have an Archon being produced as well. I hope Violet doesn't make a mistake there, because he's going to need some Storms. If we did see the Hydros den go down, so if Hydros do end up being produced, those Stormers are going to be very important. So we're kind of seeing, I don't know, many errors I think from both of these players. Maybe he was assuming that there would be a massive numbers of Mutilus reinforcements coming in, so he's morphing that Archon, which is certainly a reasonable thing, but it's kind of unfortunate for him because that is just simply not the case. And we got some Lurker Eggs morphing in here now at the natural expansion, and looks like Violet's pushing out with 6 Zealots and an Archon just playing around right now, just trying to establish an area that if he wants to go for a third base, he could. And now we have a Dark Templar trying to do some damage, not going to be able to do much of anything. Violet not able to bring that out of that Overlord's range, or the Sunken Colony's range, and he is going to lose that. Looks like Violet is going to set up this base at his third base pretty easily, with his forces being pushed out to defend against it. And we got some lurkers out as well, going to be able to set up a nice solid contain. They are going to get scouted out by this probe, so we should see a robotics facility thrown down very, very quickly for Violet, but it's going to take a little bit of time before he's able to get observers. So it's going to be very, very important with his high tempo that he used them effectively. And these little guys, these little lurkers, are going to be able to start picking away at this wall, which is going to be also very, very important. And with lurkers, you can definitely play the little game. You know, you can play the Scourge Overlord Lurker game, where the Scourge are around to pick off observers. But part of that is that you've got to be able to stop these Corsairs from running rampant. And unfortunately, right now, for Great, they are running rampant, picking off Overlords here and there, doing some damage. And we might actually be able to see a third base go up for Violet. I don't know if he's going to be able to defend it. He's going to need some more cannons, I think, before he's quite able to do so. We got some more lurkers moving in, going in towards that third base, and it looks like they're getting caught here by Violet's troops, and one of the lurkers almost goes down, but it is safe, so that is absolutely critical that it stays alive. I think he's going to try and retreat it to the other lurkers here, where he has some more defense. It looks like the gateway